Hello YouTube, Elkhart Prepper here. I'm out here in the woods and I wanted to spend some time this afternoon showing you how to gather tinder and get a fire going even in a really wet environment. Gather these weeds up that are standing dead right here. I use these all the time. Actually get a little bit of a snap when you break them off, really dry. Gather up a bunch of these, a fistful. Make a really good addition to your tinder. And then if we find some cedar bark along the way, I'll gather some of that and we'll see if we can't get a fire going with some cedar bark fluff, some dry leaves, some of these here weeds. Stay with me, I'll be right back. Well, we found ourselves a cedar tree, and what I'm going to do, looks like somebody's broke a limb off of this one. What I'm going to do is just pull out my little pocket knife I keep in my pocket all the time, and I'm going to use it to scrape this outer bark, get down to the inner bark, and then see what I'm doing here. Once you get into that inner bark, you start to get into this fluff material, and I'm going to collect a bunch of that, and that's what we're going to use to hopefully catch a spark. Cedar bark catches a spark really well, almost like having a pocket full of cotton balls. Stay with me. Okay, now what we've done is we've gathered some sticks that were dry and snapped them off of a tree. And I laid a couple sticks down parallel to each other, and then I crisscrossed, and then I built a step, and I layered all these sticks on top to keep our fire material off of the ground, because as you can see, it is very mucky and wet out here. Lots of snow everywhere, and that can really cause a big problem when you're trying to get a fire going, especially if it's an emergency situation. These are the standing dead weeds that I talked about. Going to be a really good tinder and kindling to get our fire going. And then I also have a lot of dry leaves here. Strip these off of the tree. And what we'll do is crunch these up, process them really well, begin to build our nest out of that. We're going to do a ferro rod and a striker today, so I don't need to make the nest and the tinder bundle where I can hold it. I can actually build it right here on my step. What I'm doing is breaking these fibers down so that they'll catch a spark. Crumbling it up, breaking it up, crushing it as well as I can, and then fluff it up a little bit. This is just a camp chair bag. It actually holds tinder items really well and keeps them dry. It's got that nylon material. You could use a Walmart sack or your backpack or your pocket. You want quite a bit of material. The more you got, the better chance you'll have of actually building this fire, actually getting it going. I broke these in half, and what I'm going to do is get the fire going is these will go crisscrossed on top of the flames, help get that fire really going. I also have that cedar bark that I talked about, but it's really wet, so I don't know. Got that fluffy part of that inner bark. I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot, because even wet, this stuff likes to catch on fire. So we'll see what that does. Now I'm going to run and grab some kindling. You want to find some standing dead, some limbs that are on trees that are dead, and break those off. You'll hear them snap like a twig. That's what you're looking for, even when it's wet. I'll be right back. Alrighty. You want to try to keep all of your fire materials as dry as possible. I went and got some twig material, just pops and cracks, and break down into manageable pieces here. Keep them up off the ground as best as possible, as much as possible, as best you can. These are good and dry. Okay. Now on my everyday carry, my EDC, I usually keep a whistle, compass, magnifying glass, got a thermometer, got some cordage, just hanging on a carabiner. Keep my Coughlin's fire striker, ferro rod, and a couple hacksaw blades. It really shoots the sparks out of there. They're only like $5 at most stores that sell them. Some people knock these, but I really like them. They're cheap and they work great. Let's see if they'll strike his fire in, get us going. Okay, well, we got our fire going. Now let's see if we can sustain it. What you would want to do is get your fire to this point where you can see that it's burning on its own, and then begin gathering more kindling in your general area. Stay real close and don't let the fire go out. Now, if I were really in a situation where I needed this fire bad, you can see within 10 minutes I had this fire going. It was a little difficult. Most things are wet, but not impossible to work with. Just broke down the fibers of the leaves a little bit more, manipulated the nest, shot some more sparks in there. This is why it's really important to carry a Bic lighter. You don't want to have to struggle to get your fire going. I'll grab some more wood. Well, we got some bigger kindling on here. That's about all I'm going to do. I'm going to let this thing burn down. Hopefully you guys are seeing this okay. Not too bad.